So you guys nearly doubled the harbor course greens to over 100,000 square feet. How does the size increase change the strategy for resort golfers, or does it?
It actually does quite a bit. And what we're finding is that it's actually harder for resort golfers because they're not used to putting on, greens that are twice the size as they used to be. It's actually harder for our members too, as well. And I think what's equally important is when Fazio came in, he was able to recreate what the existing greens look like as far as the existing undulations. So there are some breaks and some hills and some slopes now, that were there 40 years ago, and now they're back. So that's making it more challenging. Obviously, when you renovate greens for the first year or so, they're a little firm, so they don't hold quite as well. Obviously, they're easier to hit because they're bigger,
right?
But once you hit them, you still got a two putt. But all the comments have been really, really favorable. So it's probably harder because the greens are bigger, longer putts, more three putts. But overall, it's been a good, really good change going from 60,000 to 111,000 square feet. A big difference.
Well, I would imagine that a lot of golfers, instead of that 10, 15, even 20-foot lag putt, they're now maybe 30, 40, 50, even 60-foot lag putts come into play. So yeah, you got to really test your long putts on some of those big greens. But again, at least your greens in regulation are going up, your stats are going up a little bit more. So there's a good trade-off there, I would imagine. You mentioned, you kind of alluded to it a little bit in your answer, and I want to ask you, talked about reviving some of Fazio's design. So you guys uncovered his original 1980s contours. What was some of the most surprising design elements that your team rediscovered?
Mainly just the size of the greens, and we discovered some plateaus that we lost over the years as the greens shrunk. So like on some of the holes, there's a really cool back left pin placement that we never really knew existed. And, now it's back. So now, there's so much more variety of pin placements to use. That was probably the biggest part of it, besides just the fact that they were so much bigger. They did have a lot of back to front slope, which again was lost over time. So it was really neat to kind of see how, once they started uncovering the old greens and doing the reconstruction, how it was able to revive it. But I think just the extra pin placements and the undulation that were there, 40 years ago, that we're able to get back, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting when you sort of move some dirt around, as it were, and you discover that there was something there that you didn't know was there, or certainly didn't remember being there for several years now. It's kind of exciting in a way, because again, now you've got a pin placement on a certain hole that wasn't there for many years, now comes into play. So there's a lot of advantages for what you guys have done.